Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel for today's video, and this is day 7 of the 12 days of buildness. We're over halfway and today's build is going to be a fairy inspired build. I had a couple suggestions for a fairy build and I wanted to do one in general in the ever after, and then also Ryan in my Discord suggested a frog build, which I didn't know how to kind of do a whole frog spire build, so I thought I'd put a little bit of that in here, and then maybe in the future we'll add a proper frog area once we get some more stuff, or maybe I have a little bit of a brainstorm. But I wanted to mash the two together, and obviously it's going to be a very whimsical fairy area. I've decided to do it in Ever After, but you could definitely do this anywhere in the valley. I feel like I used to have my main fairy area in the glade, and I felt like that worked really well, but I wanted to start decorating over here in the Vale, so I've popped it in this section of the Ever After. Now there is still time to get in your suggestions for Buildmas. I've kind of got like a list of ones I think are going to be the ones, but I'm not 100% certain yet, so if you do still have some suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments below or over in my Discord server. The link for that is in the description. And the final thing is that there is still a percentage of you who are not yet subscribed to my channel, so let's push towards that 4K goal. We are so close to getting there. I appreciate all your support and let's get started. So as you can see, to start off with, I'm in this main first section of Ever After the Wild Woods, and I decided to build on this larger side because the other side is pretty small. I did do this on my members live stream with my YouTube members, so thank you so much to all of them, and we went through kind of the spacing and what I wanted to put in each location of Ever After. I've pretty much got all of Ever After planned out. The bind is pretty much almost finished, and then Mythopia I've got a couple ideas, but the Ever After I'm pretty certain on. So I wanted to start getting cracking with some of the decoration in here, and this bigger section worked so much better for the amount of fairy style houses we have, and the other smaller section was definitely too small. So I started off by going in, I decided to do a completely floral pathway in here. I did add in some of the ancient brick pathway underneath to kind of give it a base and make it a bit more visible, but I covered the entirety of the pathway in this build with the flowers you get from Moana's tapestry. There are some in the base game, the cherry blossom ones, that would also work really well in here, but I decided to go with these ones because I just love using them at the moment. If you've seen any of my Buildmas, pretty much every outdoor build has included these somewhere for the most part. So I wanted to try my hand at creating a completely floral pathway because it fit the fairy vibe. So I started covering all this pathway over with the flowers, mapping in the path so I knew where the houses were going to go, because all of these houses are at an angle. So the pathing at the moment is a little bit funny to try and figure out with the angled houses because we cannot angle the path yet. But for now, I wanted to make sure I did these like really natural staggered pathways, coated them in all the flowers, and then I can obviously start bordering the pathway as we go on later on. After the pathway was done, I then went in with the larger trees that I wanted to put behind the houses, as well as some of the big mushrooms that we get in the Storybook Vale. These just work perfectly for a fairy inspired area, and I wanted to use these larger like pre-formed structures because they actually have these gorgeous purple trees that we can't seem to get on their own. I don't know why. I hope that that gets sorted at some point in the future because I really want to use these really gorgeous light purple trees. We were talking about this on my members live and saying, why don't we have these? So I'm hoping at some point in the future we can get those on their own, but I knew in these larger sections I'd be able to include the tree cluster that these come in, and then obviously added in a bunch of trees around that. I used some of the Ancients Landing trees from the Rift in Time DLC. I also added in some of the pink cherry blossom trees we got with Mulan. I wanted to keep the back of this feeling really bright and really colourful and fit in with the Ever After location. However, if you were doing this in a different biome, such as like the Glade of Trust, I have actually done a fairy area there before, and I used a lot of the swampy foliage, a lot of the base game trees like the small red maples and the oak trees, and kind of varied it out that way. The Ancients Landing trees I feel like work really well for a fairy area anyway, especially the floral one, But in here, I obviously wanted to kind of tie it to the location. So if you are doing it in a different biome, just cater some of the trees to ones that actually fit the location you're in, and then obviously add in a lot of the more whimsical ones around that to kind of give it that look. And then after I did that, I went and started adding in the first bits of foliage, which were mainly the kind of more bright and colourful ones, and then I went in with some of the starting furniture. As you can see with the furniture in here, I started off with this middle section that is going right in the center of the fairy build, and I actually used the new Encanto rug from the premium shop bundle that we got last week, and then also the little mushroom circle that you can get in the veil. And then I started adding in a bunch of the pumpkin vine lamps all along the path, as well as some of the glowing mushrooms around the build. There wasn't actually too much in this build that was from the premium shop or Star Pass. The majority of it was Scrooge's. There was obviously the little Encanto items that kind of were an exception to that, but everything else is pretty accessible, honestly. So if you were looking to recreate something similar to this or create this kind of similar vibe, you could definitely do so. You just obviously change out these things from the bundle. But from that point of view, I wanted to keep it very, very accessible. So after that, I obviously added in the main piece of furniture, and then I started to line the pathways with some of the foliage. I went for a wide range of foliage in different colours. I added lots of purples and pinks, but also wanted to keep some of the bright greens as well to really tie in with those pumpkin vine lamps and give it this really nice overall kind of variation of colour. I wanted it to feel very eclectic, very magical, and not really fit a strict colour scheme. So I kind of just went for a little bit of everything, but you could definitely cater the foliage you use to whatever vibe you're trying to use and whatever location you're doing this in. Now underneath some of the plants and furniture, I added in some of the pink cherry blossom flowers that I was talking about earlier. So these would be a good alternative for your pathway if you did want to go for more of a pink vibe, or you didn't have this alternative one from the veil. And then I obviously tweaked in some of the smaller foliage into these little gaps of things that were missing. I wanted to make sure the edge of the pathway was completely filled with lots of foliage because I wanted to border it that way. And then I added in some of the beach grass to be this nice bright colourful kind of pop of long grass to make it feel more overgrown. I wish we did have some grass that was matching to this biome, like a nice blue or purple coloured grass. So hopefully in the future that would be something that we could maybe have, because I feel like that would definitely work better in a lot of different biomes. So I went for the beach grass though anyway, because it kind of fit the bright colours that I had going on with some of the plants in here. Now at this point in the build I'm adding in the much smaller furniture items such as the little frogs, the little plant pots, flower planters, a load of different like eclectic kind of stuff that I wanted to fill this build with. I wasn't too concerned about item limit or using too much, but this is definitely something you could kind of not be as over the top with if you are on a lower item limit, because I did go very overboard because I wanted this area to feel really full and really busy. And then I started looking for a table to put in the gazebo. I actually do end up going with the same barrel table that I used in the centerpiece, but I wanted to create a little seating area in here, and I added in some of the little spring dining plates because I felt like they fit so well, and some of the glowing tulips. These were from the Easter event, so if you can't get hold of these, there are definitely alternatives to what you could pop in here, but I wanted it to just like look like a cute little hangout area. And then I added in some of the glowing lily pads, and as I said before, some of the little frogs from Tiana's level 10 quest to give it that really whimsical vibe. I was also going to add some snippets, but I felt like I probably would end up just vacuuming these up without even realizing it whilst I'm gathering resources in here, so I decided to leave it for now, but that could be something in the future that would really work well, is some little snippets and little frog snippets in here. And then I started going in with some purple lampposts around the back of the build. I wanted to have a really nice kind of whimsical, colourful glow during darker times of the day, and these are hidden right in the trees so you can't really see them, and you'll see in the final walkthrough that those are glowing beautifully. And then the final touch was to add some fairy bubbles, of course, and add some stuff in them and some melted candles. I was actually going to add more fairy bubbles, which I probably will do in the future, but as this build was already quite busy, I didn't want to add too much and make it a bit overwhelming. So if you want to add more fairy bubbles, go for it, because they definitely fit perfectly in here. I just didn't want to overwhelm myself with too many and wanted to kind of see how I felt about adding in a few first. So this is the final build. As you can see, I've made it sunset, so everything is glowing, and this is our entrance with Tink's little archway house. And as you can see, we go straight into this main view of the rug in the middle with the little mushroom circle. We've got the pumpkin vine lamps glowing and making everything light up beautifully. As you can see, the purple lampposts behind this first house have definitely given it a glow. They help the mushrooms to glow as well, I feel like. And then we've got our first little wilted cottage. I absolutely love this in here, and it fits the fairy vibe. We go around from there, and we've got our little Encanto seating area with the little table in the middle, and we've got loads of foliage behind to block out the background. And then we've got a little pathway that goes either to the fairy flower house that I really love. I've added some little floral bushes out the front to fit the vibe. And then we've got our little gazebo where people can hang out and sit together. I've added lots of candles around as well to keep everything glowing, and this is definitely the best part of the day in here. Then we've got our little mushroom cottage. I wasn't sure about putting this in here, but I actually decided to do so, and I'm actually really glad I did. I love how this looks in here and matches with the mushrooms. I do hope we get another colour variation of this in the future that fits with EVERAFTER a little bit more, but I just love the final look. And here are some shots of everything. As you can see, it is all glowing beautifully. I felt like I was kind of hoping that this is how this would look during this time of day, and then until I changed it to this time of day, I realized actually how magical it looked. But I think I've kind of achieved what I wanted to do with the glowing lights. I feel like you could definitely add more lighting if you wanted to. The pumpkin vine lamps are gorgeous but don't add a huge amount of lighting, so they are something you could probably do, but all the glowing mushrooms and everything like that really do help to brighten everything up. So that is the final build. I hope you guys did enjoy it. I genuinely ended up loving it more than I thought I would. Thank you once again to my wonderful members who helped me out in my members live stream. If you do want to become a member to my channel, the link is in the description, or you can join through my page. It gives you access to exclusive emotes, members live streams, and members videos that go up early, as well as community posts for members and a members role in the Discord. So there is a lot there that you can get. So if you do want to become one, that is how you do that. Also, do not forget to subscribe subscribe and like the video, and let me know down below what you thought. Did you enjoy the fairy build? Was it your kind of fairy core, or was it a little bit too extravagant? I feel like I definitely went color heavy, but I've ended up really enjoying how it looks, and I'm definitely going to keep this in my ever after for a long time. I'm excited to get my ever after decorated, and we might have another ever after build coming up in Buildmas. You'll just have to wait and see. But on that note, I hope you guys did enjoy. I'll see you tomorrow for day 8, and have a lovely day. Bye.